Finally, we are back. The opening game of the Cinch Premiership is over, and Ross County got screwed by VAR without Celtic even needing to use it. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. It finished at Celtic Park on opening day. Celtic 4, Ross County 2. Not really the result that Celtic were looking for, not really the performance that Celtic were looking for either. And it's not the result that I think Ross County deserved. And I know you look at the stats, I know you're going to think this game was one-sided, you're going to think this game was dominated by Celtic, but in reality the game really was not that good. Celtic didn't do anything new under Brendan Rodgers that got me thinking, wow, this is an upgrade on Ange, this is an improvement on Ange. I didn't see that. I seen a very lacklustre Celtic today that got the opening goal through a dodgy penalty, second goal through really bad Ross County defending, and then the third goal was extremely lucky to actually stay in play. So, I mean, it's 3-0 at this point, and Celtic were very fortunate to be there. And at that point, the game's dead. But they still conceded 2 goals at home against Ross County. And I did say, I actually predicted Ross County to score 2 goals today. The only difference is I just thought Celtic would get 3 goals less than they got. So my prediction was wrong. But you look at Celtic pre-season, they did concede a lot of goals, and that's continued today. So not a good trend for Brendan Rodgers, and I think he needs to sort this shite out.
He does need to sort it out, and you know, Carter Vickers was in there. We've seen the Rocky start over Starfelt. Apparently, Starfelt's on his way out. He did come on later in the game, but for me, Celtic are defensively poor. We've seen this over pre-season, we've seen it today, and I think Joe Hart needs to go based off this performance. We've always needed them.
I'm not convinced this Naraki is going to be in front of Starfelt.
Yeah, but if Starfelt goes, he's going to have to be. That's the problem.
Starfelt goes, but if Starfelt stays, I'm not convinced that this Naraki guy should just come in and overtake Starfelt. I think Starfelt gets unfair criticism at times, but anyway, let's talk about the start of the game. Not Jay. I was going to say Jay. James Forrest lifted up the flag. That's about as good as it got for him. I don't know why James Forrest is still at Celtic. He's lingering around like a bad smell.
No one wants him.
Get some fucking Febreze, spray it on James Forrest, and just let him go.
Hold on, you want Celtic fans to spray Febreze in their stadium? Come on, that's a wee bit unrealistic.
Alright, okay, well.
Come on, man, you play the game, brother.
Get some form of soap.
Even that's unrealistic. Come on, hit me with something else.
Alright, just deport him then. I don't fucking know.
No, alright, James Forrest, see from a Rangers, a biased perspective, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I understand he may be shit the last couple of seasons, but he's won a shit ton of trophies.
Like, I'm not saying he wasn't a good player in his prime, but he's done.
Yeah, but the way he's getting treated is pretty bad.
Yeah, I know, but you've wanted Scott Wright out the door at Rangers for a long time. Imagine Scott Wright was pushing 33. Would you? And he was still starting for...
Does Scott Wright have like 37 trebles? No, trebles.
He would if he played for Celtic.
Yeah, but I can almost accept that.
You're going to have to accept it because it's true. Right, strong start for Ross County, right? They didn't, I wouldn't say they really created anything clear-cut, although Simon Murray did have a decent header early on where he put it past the post. So
yeah, there was an open net as well. Was that what you're talking about?
No, that wasn't Simon Murray.
So Simon Murray's got so many chances here.
Simon Murray has a chance early on, but he puts it wide of the post. I think, right, okay. Then we got a Simon Murray shot as well that was deflected out by Cameron Carter-Vickers.
I think Joe Hart was beat here.
Yeah, I thought he was beat as well. It was going into the bottom right. He was like trying to swerve at bottom right, but outside the boot. But nah, it took a deflection off Carter-Vickers, went for a corner. Ross County got a lot of corners in the opening 15-20 minutes, but the deliveries all sucked. So they couldn't really make it count.
They got about 7 in the first half. You need to make some of them count.
Then we get like a lob. This is where the controversy begins. We get like a lobbed chip pass back to Joe Hart. He chests it down and said he could have cleared it. He could have just put his boot through it and got rid of it. But he tries to chest it down straight away. He takes a heavy touch. The ball gets away from him. Simon Murray is in. I believe it's Murray. Yeah, Simon Murray. He gets to the ball first. The ball then goes away from Joe Hart. I think the last touch came off Joe Hart. I think Simon Murray touched it onto Hart. And then Hart dangles his leg out, takes out Simon Murray. Simon Murray doesn't cheat like Greg Taylor. He tries to stay on his feet. He loses his balance. He trips a little bit, but stays standing. And the ball goes out of play. Open goal. Chance for a tap-in for Simon Murray. But he didn't get that tap-in. because of Joe Hart making a tackle. Well, I say a tackle, he didn't get the ball.
Attempted tackle,
but he made a foul on Murray, and did the ref give a penalty? No.
No, we didn't even
But
get
it's
a
okay,
check.
because we're going to go to VAR, and VAR will overturn this decision. No, we didn't do that either. We didn't even go to VAR. They just literally continued the game. I mean, clear penalty here. Even Chris Boyd saying it's a penalty, and I know that doesn't really mean much, but still.
Chris Boyd said, if it's a soft egg or a hard egg, it's still an egg, isn't it?
Well, this was a soft... No, I'd say this was a fucking medium boiled egg.
See if this is in the middle of the park. It's not getting... It's last man.
Yeah, last man, goalkeeper, no one in nets, easy tapping for Simon Murray, and somehow referee doesn't even want to go and look at it. I think that is corrupt. Isn't the whole point of VAR to get decisions correct? How the fuck are you not even looking at it?
Boyd's right to a degree. If he throws himself down, they definitely probably give it, or at least look at it.
And then we go up the pitch like 5 minutes later. Greg Taylor does exactly that, edge of the box, throws himself down, and he is awarded a penalty with barely any contact. I don't even know if there was contact.
I'd say it's the same amount of contact, but he's just more theatrical about it.
And we didn't get to see it because the referee didn't go to VAR. So 2 penalties.
It's not the ref's fault.
Well, it is. No, the ref can go and look at it if he fucking wants. If the ref's not sure.
Yeah, but you're right in that regard. But if VAR don't consult him, he can't decide to go to VAR by himself.
Yeah, but how? So the ref must. No, the ref must think he's got both of these spot on then.
That's pretty much it.
Because if he wants a second, he doesn't need to be called over.
Yeah, but so does VAR.
If the referee's not convinced he's got it right, he can go and check.
Aye, but if VAR obviously back his decision. They didn't even bother looking at it.
Well, they got both wrong.
I tell you what, he said during the game, see if you flipped these, they both would have been checked. Weight checked.
Of course.
Every day they would.
I'll tell you what, should Joe Hart not have been sent off?
See if it was flipped. The first one would have been a penalty and the second one wouldn't have been given, so it probably wouldn't have been checked.
They wouldn't have been checked, they just would have been different outcomes. I think Joe Hart could have been sent off as well. But nah, penalty given, Turnbull slots it in, 1-0. Not long after this, Celtic make it 2. Ball into Kyogo, some of the worst defending I've seen.
Yeah, it was poor.
All season. For Ross County.
All season.
Aye, all season.
Or the first 25 minutes.
I don't know why, but they had like 4 men against Kyogo, and all of a sudden nobody wanted to go near him, avoiding him like the plague.
Yeah,
strange.
Ross County then, tackle goes in, far possible red, and you just thought the screw was eventually in here.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a coming together down towards the corner, nothing in it really. It's a nothing tackle, and then all of a sudden they decide to bring VAR out for the first time today. So we've had 2 fucking penalty decisions, one that went Celtic's way and one that went against Ross County, and we don't need VAR for them, but they bring VAR out for a throwaway tackle that meant shit, and they're checking for a possible red card.
Come on,
how about you check for a possible screw job, possible corruption? Because that's what's went on today.
That's what they need to go on. But David Turnbull, he made it 3-0. So if you've got him in your fantasy team, you'll be laughing. I've got him in my fantasy team.
I had him in my fantasy team, but couldn't afford to keep minutes. I took him out.
Who for?
A bunch of shite players. It's not worked out too good for me.
It's not worked out, but 3-0 at half time for Celtic, who's had a pretty poor half. And see people that go, oh, but we scored 3 goals anyway.
Now here's the thing.
If Ross County go 1-0 up, it fucking changes everything.
Exactly. But here's the thing. See at 3-0, the fact that Celtic's been shite, second half, I'm expecting, right, you know what, Ross County they're going to be deflated. They've actually put up a decent wee fight in the first half. I've got nothing for it. Celtic's been crap. They're leading 3-0. I mean, Celtic are going to come out second half now. They've got the subs, etc. They can bring on the better players for the bench. They're going to come out and just steamroll Ross County.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you're thinking this is going to be 6-7-0.
You do.
Based on the fact it's already 3-0, Celtic been poor.
And the fact is, Ross County won the second half.
Yeah, Ross County won the second half by 2-1. How many of those do you want to blame Joe Hart for? Can we blame him for the first goal? I'd say so. Corner, he comes out, flaps, he throws his arms up like he's doing a jumping jellyfish.
It's a good header for White, but Joe Hart's got to deal with it.
I mean, it's a good header, but look how far and long the ball's up in the air for.
Yeah, if he didn't.
Joe Hart stays on his line, it's an easy catch.
Yeah, or at least save it, but he doesn't do that. Then Matt O'Reilly, good finish. This is good play for Celtic. I'm not going to dispute this. And Laidlaw had a really good game. Did make a couple of good saves. Joe Hart, on the other hand, didn't actually make a save.
That's what I mean, right? Laidlaw was the better keeper today, but I mean, if Celtic could have won 4-0, and people would have been all praising Joe Hart.
Yep.
Even though, see this myth that Joe Hart's a great keeper. How? as good as Ross County were in the first like half an hour, they didn't really challenge anything on target, and
No.
anything they did was deflected. So Joe Hart essentially had nothing to do in this game. He could have made 2 saves, and he didn't make any of them.
Yeah, and even Ross County's second goal, so great ball to James Brown, I thought was pretty good. Signed for Blackburn, cuts in, shoots, deflects off Starfelt. And it's a head height for Hart.
It's a deflection, don't get me wrong, but I feel like a good keeper saves this. I can't think of a great keeper that lets this go in. Now, is it maybe just Joe Hart being old and slow reflexes?
He doesn't even react though, he just sits there and looks at it. It's like when, who is it that scored against, it was Suter. Remember Suter scored at Ibrox last season and the ball went past him, he just stood there looking forward.
I mean, you could argue this deflection actually made it an easier save. Because it went from being down low to head height.
You couldn't still let it go in.
So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. 4-2 to start the season. Celtic off with a win. Not convincing though. And I tell you what, Celtic fans that were on the edge, Celtic fans that were undecided about Brendan Rodgers, I don't think this will help.
No.
I think Brendan Rodgers will be looking for a massive win today, a convincing win.
Let's be real, right? They've won 4-2 against a team that's going to be relegation fighting, and they've conceded 2 and haven't played good whatsoever.
No.
Now, you could argue they've played pretty poor and still won, but...
Well, it's just a sign of champions, I get that, but I mean, that doesn't really go for Celtic Rangers, doesn't it not? You should be winning and winning good every game.
You shouldn't be conceding 2 goals. And let's be real, right? As we said, Joe Hart didn't have to deal with a proper save. What happens in Europe? Or against Aberdeen next week? Or against Rangers?
Goals change games. What happens if that Ross County penalty's awarded?
Well, corruption though, mate. I was never going to get awarded. Anyway, guys, we'll be back soon for the player ratings. What's Joe Hart going to get?
Not good. I know people are going to think I'm bashing Celtic here, but I actually thought it was a really poor performance. And I think any Celtic fan that has been honest will also admit that they weren't impressed today by what they've seen.
Yeah, obviously, it's the first game, so I mean, I say, did the team really need to gel?
And another
There's
thing,
barely anyone that came in.
another thing I'll say, the players that did come in, no one's impressed me.
No, who's impressed me was Turnbull, actually coming back into the squad.
The only guy that's impressed me is the one that realised there's 2 genders. The guy from Norway.
Odin Thiago home. Nah, come on, that terrorist saying that.
Well, no, I know, but at least he's got knowledge.
Here,
He understands basic biology, so I mean...
you can be a literal terrorist and that's fine, right? But she's saying something that's actually scientifically true. Fuck, I can't say that, come on. What's that all about?
Anyway, look, I'll reserve my judgment for a later day, but... I mean, Celtic won, but nah, wasn't great.
Tell you what though, will Rangers win later? Dun dun dun, we'll find out guys, stay tuned. 7 o'clock review.